Hello, good morning, students. Today we are discussing an important topic, that is aquatic ecosystems. Earlier, you know that we discussed about forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, and desert ecosystem. Every ecosystem having its own importance. You know very well that we studied earlier various type of flora and fauna in these ecosystems. So today we will discuss aquatic ecosystem, which comprises of basically marine environment, that is sea, estuary, coral reef, etc. Estuary means that is transition between river and having something streams. So it is transition between sea and other type of that wetlands. Now we are talking about aquatic ecosystem, which is comprised of marine environment, that is freshwater system, and having lake, pond, streams, wetlands, and coral reef estuary. They provide various type of wealth, that is you can see, that is fish and crustaceans. So but these ecosystems like aquatic ecosystem, the breakdown of this by organic waste, which we do actually, the human being, which is actually contaminating that aquatic ecosystem. So there is various type of you can say creatures, flora and fauna having in this ecosystem, but this ecosystem is also polluted by human beings, because you can see that boats or these sea uh, trade and these kind of misuse, overutilization of ecosystem, of aquatic ecosystem, which is that is finishing that particular aspect also. So now fresh water in this river system, or you can say pond system, or various wetlands, this is also going down day by day. So, if we are talking about aquatic ecosystem, what is it? Actually, aquatic ecosystem which provides habitat for plant and animals for live in, and various type of creatures are living in this particular system. It is also having two components. One is abiotic, another is biotic. So abiotic component, if we are talking about, so chief abiotic substance, that is heat, light, pH of water. You will also see salinity, that is salt composition in various type of wetlands. So pH of water is also important, clarity and turbidity, and other organic and inorganic compounds which are found in this aquatic ecosystem: CO2, O2 balance, amino acids, humic acids, and different kind of things you can see in this system. Now we are talking about biotic component. If we are talking about biotic component, the various organisms constitute in this. So again we will found that producers, consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, or primary consumers, this kind of classification you will also found in this particular ecosystem. So we will start from the producers. So autotrophic clean plants, if we are talking about photosynthetic bacteria and cyanobacteria, we already heard about these terminologies in our 12th class or 11th class. So fix radiant energy into complex substances. These creatures, what they do actually, they do that complex organic substances they convert into carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids, using different kind of minerals which they got from this water or mud. So these producers are of different types. They can be classified like phytoplanktons, that is minute floating or suspended, like they are called as algae. So plants may be unicellular like Clivadomonas, you have all heard about that, that is diameter atoms, colonial also, volvox. These kind of different kind of, you can say, plant origin creatures are found in this aquatic system. So macrophytes also there, like large plants, free floating they are: lamina, spredella, pistia, econeria, that is submerged. Also a hydrilla is there, and rooted floating leaves are also there, water lily and stragia and typha. These kind of plants which we already heard, these kind of plants in our uh, 11th or 12th class, if you heard about that. So these kind of creatures, or you can say plant creatures, are found in your aquatic ecosystem. Now we are moving ahead from the for this consumers. They are consist of herbivorous and carnivorous. Some fishes also feed on these carnivorous. So consumers are basically carnivorous, and but before that, if we are moving, so primary consumers, that is called herbivorous, are also found. So they are also minute in this size, and they are classified in different type of creatures. Like first one is banthos, that is bottom dwellers and are known as detrivorous. They include fish, insect, larvae, beetles, mites, mussels, and crustaceans, which are found bottom level. Zooplanktons, that is free floating rotifiers. Some protozoas also there, and you can see the names. Examples are given. Other are that is secondary consumers. So secondary consumers, primary carnivorous, that is feed on herbivorous. They are chiefly insects and fish. Water beetles feed on zooplanktons, that they are dependent on zooplanktons. And further there are tertiary consumers are also there, that is also called as secondary carnivorous. So these are big fishes that is feed on smaller fishes. And you know that cycle will not complete if we don't have that is for consumption of dead animal body, whatever left flesh is there. So decomposers are also found in this aquatic system also. So they are also called as micro consumers, that is decomposers, and they consume that, decompose that organic matter into simple forms. And these are basically chiefly bacteria, actinomycetes, and fungi. These particular species we already discussed in previous chapters or units. So I am moving toward further, that is your classification, that is aquatic ecosystem. There is a table that flowchart is given. You can see that is freshwater ecosystem and the marine ecosystem. So freshwater ecosystem having that standing water, and the other name for using the standing water, that is Atlantic. So ponds, lakes, and wetlands, bogs, these are the example of freshwater ecosystem. Another part is running water or lotic, that is river, stream, string. And marine ecosystem, brackish water, deltas or estuary. I already told you brackish water means salinity, that is more than the fresh water, but it is less than the saline water. In between transition stage, that is called brackish water. Deltas or estuary, that is estuary is that is transition phase between sea and the various other wetlands. So this particular system having salinity. And other than this marine ecosystem, we have classification: saline water, coastal shallows, coral reefs, deep oceans. So this is overall structure of this aquatic system. Now we are further moving towards pond ecosystem, that is a part of fresh water ecosystem. So the pond is very simple aquatic ecosystem that is self-sufficient and self-regulatory. We are we've already discussed about that self-regulatory and stuff structure meaning of that. So pond is like of that particular system. So pond is over by the this, you can see that is by, you can say, rain water. So dry after the rains are over and covered by terrestrial. When the rain just go away, then what happens? Then it will become dry, and the various terrestrial plants for remaining years it will be found in this particular system. So whenever this rainwater is there in abundance in this particular system, so you can see the algae and microorganisms, microscopic and animals, insects and snails and various kind of worms you can found in this particular ecosystem, so where they have remained dormant during the dry period. So gradually uh, more complex animals like frogs, fish, crabs return to the pond. Producers consist of phytoplanktons and further various kind of species: floating plants, rooted plants, water lilies, submerged plants, emergent plants. These comes into the periphery, and the monsoon season, that is full of life with large number of food chains. Algae are eaten by herbivores like small fish, and further carnivorous eat this herbivorous, and insects are eaten by frogs and eaten by kingfishers, herons, and other birds of prey, aquatic insects, worms, and feed on detritus or dead organic matter which broke down into nutrients. So you can see this cycle, how the primary consumers and secondary consumers and different kind of herbivorous, carnivorous are dependent on each other. This particular diagram shows you that particular system. The bottom of that fish you can see, that is tertiary consumer, that is a big fish that is consuming that uh, other fishes, small fishes. So abiotic component, that is inorganic and organic materials, will be found in this, and different kind of consumers levels are shown in this diagram. So this is pond ecosystem. This is structural unit of basic pond system, and we are talking about now moving further, that is lake ecosystem. Lake is joint permanent pond and also shows some important ecological differences. Lake is limnatic and profundal zones, uh, basically, which is larger than that. A large amount of plant material of lake is basically algae. That is one difference. So, which drives its light energy from the sun. Zooplankton and small animals, they are fed into this algae and aquatic weeds. Small animals like snails and are eaten by small carnivorous fish and eaten by large carnivorous fish. Again, the system is similar, that is, consumers are different on different producers and then for other consumers. So there is, you have also heard about that catfish, that is muddy bed of the lake. This is found, that is called bottom feeder. So this is a particular zone in lake determined by gradient of light, temperature, and oxygen. So here you will find that there is a limnatic zone, uh, from where that they are dependent on sunlight and different kind of uh, temperature and oxygen variants, that is called abiotic components. So moving further, animal waste and dead organic matters that is found in lake broke down in detritivores small animals. So these nutrient released by detrivorous decompose used by aquatic plants for their growth, and CO2 and O2 release photosynthesis. This oxygen is used for aquatic respiration. So you can see that whatever decomposition appears and CO2 and O2 release in this, overall consumption in comes in photosynthesis. So again we are moving further for streams and river ecosystems. So if we talk about this river or this stream ecosystem, they are biotic communities of lotic or flowing water ecosystem. So they are actually adapted to different rates of water current, means maybe it is faster or maybe it is slower. Some plant and animal species like snails and other animals can withstand the rapid flow of stream in hilly areas. So streams, you can found that in hilly areas the stream speed may be larger, maybe faster. Other species of plant also found there, beetles and scatters. So slow, some species of fish like mesher go upstream from rivers to stream for breeding. So sometimes it happens that slow moving creatures also move to this fast moving creatures. So you can see that they are going for breeding, means the chief producer are attached species of algae like different kind of diatoms and aquatic mosses, so fontanelles. So you can find different kind of species in this stream also. Deforestation is a problem that has converted some permanently flowing stream into seasonal ones, because again you can see that this is a connection between the nature, that is, if we are cutting the trees and deforesting overall, so it will lead to that we are actually disturbing the nature and the streams will be lost. So this lead to flash floods into the rainy season and dryness after monsoon. So rainy season you will find that floods, and after monsoon again the dry area will be there, that is imbalance in the nature. So the community of flora and fauna, rivers and stream dependent on also certain factors. That is, factors are clarity, that is turbidity, rate of flow, oxygen content, and different kind of nature requirements. So now This is all about this aquatic system, fresh water system. Further, we will talk about tomorrow regarding marine ecosystem, and further we will move different kind of factors which are affecting this aquatic ecosystem. Hope you are getting beneficial from this particular lecture. I will share certain notes with you meanwhile regarding this aquatic ecosystem, and further we will move further for that our last unit, that is environmental pollution, which is utmost important. Thanks a lot for hearing. Thanks a lot.